Hey, it's Melissa with Sincerely Creative Mom. We're going to make a super thin pancake style wreath today. Pancake just means it's going to be super round but nice and flat to fit between your doors. It may not be for you, but maybe your customers or a friend or family have a storm door on their door and they're looking for something a little bit thinner than what some people make or you see online. So this comes in 3 pieces. It's a wooden base. There's the 14-inch, which we're going to be working on today, the 10-inch, and the sign extender. We're going to send those aside. There are tutorials online for those. This is for the Oh Snap. This was a wreath kit, actually. And so this is the tutorial for that. You can follow along and make one just like this yourself. We have the 14-inch frame. We have 2 ribbons that we cut 14 inches long. We have our sign, our pipe cleaners, ribbon for a bow, and our mesh that I already pre-cut. So I'm going to take our pipe cleaners right now and add them to our frame. No guessing here, no nothing. You're just going to put it right where the holes are that match the notch, both on the inside and on the outside. There's 6 on the inside, 6 on the outside, and we're just going to start by adding those pipe cleaners all the way around. So nice and easy, nice and tight, going right into where the hole is, pulling it to the outside, nice and tight. We're going to work, when we start working, we're going to work on the outside first, and then we'll move to the inside. Nice and tight. You want to make sure that that pipe cleaner actually is hugging that wood all the way completely. This frame has 12 spots for twist ties. It's my ultimate recipe that I always use for a nice and friendly, budget-friendly wreath base. Takes just a second to get them all in. So you don't have to measure, you don't have to guess, you don't have to anything. Just put them right where those, the matching the hole and the notch, just right where those go. So where you wanted to put it. So we have our mesh. It is 10 inches wide. We've already cut it 20 inches long. One thing I want you to do right now, if you haven't already, your kit comes with these 2 zip tie mounts, and they are meant to go on the back of your sign. Okay, they're meant to go on the back of your sign. What you want to do is add a little bit of super glue, DAP Rapid Fuse glue, peel off the back. Okay, put a little bit of that glue on there, stick it on your sign side to side, and then I actually use clamps when I'm using these, just so I can make sure that they're very dry and they're, you know, get a good grip on there. I personally like to use a staple, but because I can't send staple guns with your kits, that's the reason why I send the zip tie mounts. But all I've done is I've taken staples and stapled the pipe cleaners to the back of the sign. The sign is not quite 1/4 inch, and the staples that I do use are 1/4 inch. So I use a little bit of backing here. I just took off the back of a ribbon spool and then cut a couple pieces there and did that. So if you are using the zip tie mounts and a little bit of glue, you might want to do that now before you keep going. So I've already pre-cut our mesh. It is 20 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, it's 20 inches wide, but we cut it 20 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and ruffle those right up that white line, all the way up. Don't let it kind of come in there. Just make sure you get the whole thing all the way. Okay, and then we're going to go put it in the outside of our frame. Push it down nice and tight. I'm going to overlap here. and overlap here. And then I'm going to take all those ruffles that are coming up and I'm going to flip them down, flip them inside out if you will, so that they will stay nice and round, but keep it nice and flat like a pancake, okay? So we're going to keep doing that all the way around. Ruffle right up the center. Okay, go right in the outside. Overlap, overlap, flip it underneath, inside out, whatever you want to call it. Now I also want to make sure that I'm keeping those inside pipe cleaners up ready for me to use. I don't want them to get hidden. Okay, so just like that. And I'm going to keep going all the way around. Another reason why I like just the 12 twist ties, we only have to do this 12 times. The 12 piece base is also very budget friendly. It doesn't use the whole roll of mesh, so you will have a little bit left if you purchase this kit, or if you're making this style, you will have a little bit left over. Again, nice and gentle when I'm pulling those through. Last one on the outside, then we'll work on some ribbon. Okay, this is one of my favorite meshes actually. It is the jute mesh with the foil going through. Any of the jute with the foil colors I love. I don't know why. I like a little bit of color, really. I like all mesh, okay? I do. I like all mesh. But my favorite is the jute with the foils. You just put, it's just a nice neutral with a little bit of color. With the foil, it brings a little bit of shimmer. And so it's nice just to give a little bit of, you know, color in there. So I have two ribbons, 14 inches long. I'm going to nice and just like I just put in the mesh. Okay, twist that nice and tight. I'm going to pull these apart, one and over, so up and down and over, up and down and over. Okay, so you have all your ribbons facing out towards the edge. In this design, you want them all facing out towards the edge. If they're on the inside, you won't see them once we're done. So you want them all facing out towards the edge. Twist, 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 twist. Spread them apart, place them. So pretty. And then you want to keep that pattern, polka dot gingerbread, polka dot gingerbread, polka dot gingerbread, and so on. You want to keep that going all the way around so that it's easy to see on your eye. Like the eye is, it's pleasing to the eye to see, right? I love this ribbon combination. Very much complementing one another with the same color polka dots that's in the ribbon, the green. I love this. This is really pretty. Really, really pretty. Again, this was a kit. It did sell out. If you are not on our email list, that is where we send notifications when we have new kits available. So make sure you're on our email list. If you go to melslinks.com, M-E-L-S, melslinks.com, it will be in the description of this video here on YouTube. All the links will be able to get in there for you. Twist, 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 twist. Another thing that polka dot ribbon does is it doesn't leave that space so like a negative space, like, you know, where there's no color, no nothing going on. It really gives just enough support to that other ribbon. It's just really cute. Okay, so everything is going out for a reason. We're going to come in and put our next layer of ribbon in, mesh in, and then ribbon. One thing we're going to do before we do that is cut off our extra pieces of our pipe cleaner. Not that it's really necessary, honestly, because you're not going to see them. However, just for training so that you can see what we're doing a little more clear, we're going to just cut those off. Okay, and then we're going to come right on top, right inside, right on top with our next pieces. We're going to do the same exact thing. Ruffle right up the center. Making sure that's tiny, is super tiny in the inside. And then I'm going to put it right down on top immediately. Immediately on top. I'm not going to play with it. Just let it do its thing. Overlap. Overlap on the top. And now you see why those ribbons all coming out towards, not in towards the wreath. They're out towards you. Okay, so that you can see all of them. And then we'll put another layer of that ribbon right on the top. There's always a reason I do things. Sometimes I might not remember why I'm doing things, but there's always a reason why I started to do things the way I do. So I try to explain all that as much as I possibly can so that y'all don't have to worry about trial and errors. You can just learn from my mistakes and move on. Now, to make this video go a little faster, even though it's still a little long, but to make it go a little faster, I did pre-cut everything. So it does take a little while to make this whole design. In all, definitely under an hour. But, you know, I pre-cut things so that you all wouldn't have to wade through that. Ruffle right up the center. This mesh also has a nice white line there to help guide us. I love this, especially this mesh. I know I do love the jute with the foil going through, but especially this one because the jute kind of like very gingerbready, right? So the colors are just really nice. Now, I hate to say it, but we are going to cover up this. I'll say this. For those of you who love the look of the mesh, I'll say this. I've never had a customer, and I've been in business now since 2000, technically since 2015. Really kind of progressing though since 2017. I've never had a customer say, oh, I'd like to see more of that mesh, less ribbons. Okay. I've never had a customer ever in history say, hey, can I see more of the mesh, not so many of the ribbons? Never. Now, they might like a different wreath than this one if they didn't want to see, you know, if they didn't like the style. But they certainly have never said, hey, I don't want to see so many of the ribbons. I want to see more of the mesh. No one has said that, ever. So, if you are thinking that, oh, why is she covering that all up? Keep that in the back of your mind, okay? I've sold, I don't even know how many wreaths. I don't know how many. I sell on Etsy. I sell at a local boutique. I've done craft shows. I've done it all, right? And so no one has said, hey, that mesh is really pretty. Although the mesh is really pretty. No one has said, hey, I want to see more of that and less of everything else, right? This is just in there as a support, as a helper, just to be our base, really. Okay. Now the top, I'm not so much putting right, you know, flipping inside out, but we're just kind of going with it. So the next thing we're going to do is add another layer of the ribbon. So another 2.5 inch ribbons going right in on top. About 7 or 8 twists. And that twist is just because I need it to be enough so that when I cut that pipe cleaner off, there is enough there where it's not going to, you know, come apart or loosen, and that's going to, you know, let go. Like, we want to make sure that that's not going to come apart. And I'm just going to do this and put them all in right now, just to save a little tiny bit of time. And instead of picking up my wire cutter every single time I put one in, I'll just pick it all up all at once and twist it. Again, put it right down in there. Don't let it float. Just put it all the way down to where the mesh is. Oopsie. This is adorable. It is so cute. The ribbons are adorable. Some, I'll tell you, so I take the colors and the themes and the, whatever, patterns and stuff right from the sign. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't know how that's going to look. Sometimes I don't know how it's going to look. This one was not one of those times. This one I knew it was going to end up being super duper cute, and I wasn't going to have anything to worry about at all. So I knew we were going to have something really cute on our hands. And this one is definitely cute, for sure. Okay, so we're going to take that again. Get these out of the way. We're going to take that ribbon, spread it apart. Okay, so I'm going to push this down into the center so it kind of stays out of the way. And then I'm going to take these, pull it apart up and down, pull it apart side to side. Now, you may think, oh, she's giving me too many details. I don't need to know all this stuff. Trust me when I say, I've done this a couple times. Trust me when I say you want to make sure you pull them up and down apart and then side to side apart. That way it'll do exactly what you want it to, okay? And then it won't go back to where it was. It won't just shift back to where it was. So you want to make sure you're going, pushing that inside, pulling that up and down and side to side, okay? I know a thing or two. Up and down, side to side. And just keep doing that all the way around, making sure you're keeping your pattern. The pattern stays the same. Pattern stays the same. Last one. Okay, so before we add our sign and our bow, we have all the really thin, right? Super duper thin. Okay, perfect to go between the door. We are going to add a bow and a sign. The bow is going to take up a little space. It is going to put a little thicker, right? But that is so stinking cute. So cute. Again, we took the back and we added those pipe cleaners already. And so we're going to take now the ribbon for the bow. Okay. So we'll place the sign in just a minute. We're going to make our bow first. And this, another very complimenting, although it does have a little bit of a lime green, which our base does not have any lime green. But I think it's still a nice little contrast, being a little different from the rest of the ribbons that are in the wreath. You know, with the polka dots being similar, but the white diagonals are not there. We brought in the white polka dots and the lime green, and this almost looks black. This here, but just a little different, not the same. I try my hardest to be a little different. So we're gonna go with roughly a 7-inch tail, a 6-inch loop. Now, making these enough times, I know exactly how much space we need, how much space our bow needs to take up. So pull those apart, twist, loop, kind of eyeball it, make sure those are the same, pinch, twist, loop. The same again, pinch and twist. I'm going to put that right down in here, and then we're going to cut off our extra. Okay, I'm going to come up with a solid green. Solid green is going to break things up a little bit. It's going to give us solid, just solid color. It's going to be real nice in there. So again, I'm going to take that nice and nice little tail there. Everything's going to be a little bit shorter, so I'm going to pinch and then twist and loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, and twist. So this bow has 2 loops, 1 loop and 2 tails, but each layer has that. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to alternate my 2 loops. So if the 2 loops are over here, I'm going to put the 2 loops on the other side, and I'm going to do that all the way up. So our last but certainly not least, super duper, I love it. It's the same pattern here, except it has a white background and the red edging. Love, love, love. It is adorable. We're going to do the exact same thing with the tails. And our top layer is going to have one little loop. It's about 3 inches. So one little loop there. And then also still a pinch. Twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist, loop, pinch, twist. Y'all, if you are watching and wondering how I make bows and needing a little bit more care, a little more help on your bow making, I did do a couple weeks ago a full 2-hour tutorial on bow making, color, matching, all that stuff inside the Creative Coaching Group. We'd love to have you if you haven't followed us yet or haven't checked us out there yet. Lots of stuff going on. I just did a tree tutorial in there, a tree topper. Let's see here. So the link for that is in the below description. Okay, so I'm just going to take this off nice and gentle all the way up. When I get to the top, I'm going to squeeze it nice and tight. Take my pipe cleaner. Actually, I'm going to take a zip tie. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to use this really cool tool. I love the link for this is also in the description of our YouTube video. So I'm going to use our little zip tie tool here, and I'm just going to slide it in there. It'll tighten it and cut it off all at once. Okay, super cool, nothing to it. And then from there, I get to add my zip tie. I'm sorry, my pipe cleaner. Let's get all these things out of the way. Okay. So add my pipe cleaner to the bow, and then we'll fluff it out. So we're going to add it right to the top. Crisscross, twist, twist. I'm going to hold it between my fingers back here. And then from here, I'm going to take that center loop up, kind of hold it in my hand, kind of work it back and forth. And then I'm going to take our layers here and just fluff them out so that everything is kind of going in a pattern where it's going to be one layer and you can see both of the other 2 layers. Okay, so it's one side, and then we'll do the other side. Now I always like to put the longest piece, which in this case is the tails, going out towards the bottom of the wreath. Got a little poof it out there a little bit. Make it do exactly what I want it to. Now I know I said this is going to be a real thin design, but our bow is going to definitely kick us up a little bit. So I'm going to add our sign. Now this is the hard part. This is definitely the hard part. I'm going to add our sign. I'm going to take those pipe cleaners that are right attached to the back, like we did in the front and the beginning of this. Show that to you in the beginning, what we did here. And then I'm going to take those, kind of just slide it through all that mesh so I can get it through around the frame. And once I have these both through, I'll flip it over so you can see what I'm doing back there. Tack that right there. On this side now, again, I just want to make sure I'm covering up those pipe cleaners as best as I can. I don't want to see them in the end, although they've been a very big help and kept everything, you know, they've kept everything together. I don't want to see them, so I'm trying my best to cover them up. There we go. I'll turn it over in just a second. Okay, so I have my pipe cleaner came through on both sides, right? Just gonna tie that in nice and tight, twist it around, and slide it underneath so no one hurts themselves on it, because you know they're a little, just want to make sure that those are nice and tight. They're a little pokey, right? So I don't want anything to be getting in people's fingers and all that stuff. So I'm just going to wind it together. There you go, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing to the bow, but once we have the bow on, I'm not going to flip it over. So I'm going to do the same thing to the bow. Just now I'm going to make sure that that was in the right spot. Pulling those all out where we need them to be. Thank you very much. And then we'll do one last round of pulling everything. Making sure everything is perfect. Okay, so those tails are going to come out towards the bottom. So they're my longest piece. They're my longest part of the bow. So I want them to come out this way, not up towards the, right, not up towards the sign, right? So I'm going to come right in here. Do the exact same thing. Got my fingers up underneath there. I'm looking for that, feeling for it. No, well, I'm not actually looking for it. I'm feeling for that wire to come through. Okay. And then as soon as I have it, I just want to make sure we're in the right spot before I really pull it in. And then doing the same thing, just wrap it around the bottom. And tuck it in. The last thing I'm going to do is, well, not the last thing. The next thing I'm going to do is see where this bow is and make sure it's going the right way. And you can see all of the pieces, and nothing is covering the sign too much, right? We want to cover the sign, just not too much. We don't want to cover it really. We just want to. There we go. Super cute. Super cute. And then the last thing we're going to do is go around the whole thing and make sure all of our ribbons are where they need to be, because all I want to do when I get to the end and I'm ready to list it is put it right on that, right on the door with the bright lights. Everything's great, and I just want to take the pictures and be done. So when it's on the door, I don't want to have to play with it once it's on the door. So I play with it and put everything in place when we're here in this position, so we can see everything still. Super, super cute. Y'all, thanks for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed. Hope that you're inspired. I hope that you're learning new techniques. I hope that you're practicing. I hope that you're on our email list so that you can get emails when the new tutorials come out. If you are not on our list and you'd like to join us, you can go to melslinks.com. It will be in the description of this video. Again, I am so excited. Let me put it on its side so you can see. Well, here's the bow. Super cute. And then here's the sides. Love, love, love. And then let me zoom out just a little bit so you can see the whole thing. So, so cute. Y'all, thank you very much for watching. and I will see you again in the next tutorial. Bye, y'all.